little fucking warm in here tonight, yeah? I think that makes it just about right for a fucking rock and roll party.
So thank you for being here. You're right in the middle of the tour. It's the first time here. How's the tour doing?
It's been fantastic. As we've been saying, considering we've been going 18 years as a band, this is the first time we've actually really kind of toured France to any extent. And it's been a fantastic response everywhere we've been. Lille, New York, last night in Toulouse, and it looks as if it's going to be another good one here as well, so it's been great.
Okay, cool. So first, regarding your last album released, how did you decide that it will be a live album, and especially at Bloodstock Open Air Festival? I mean, why another? Well, why did you choose this one and Hellfest as well? But why this one?
It was more of a case of the timing of it, really. When the label suggested it, we looked at what was coming up, and with Bloodstock being, in the UK, it was easy for us to get in touch with the right people to set it up. So we knew that would be a bit of a special show as well. We hadn't played Bloodstock Festival for, I think it was 10 or 12 years, something like that. Yeah. So to go back and headline one of the stages was an honour for us, and it was a perfect opportunity to capture the band, in the best environment.
The other thing as well was the reason we had to release something in the first place was we're just about to go and tour America with Clutch.
Okay.
And if you go and do a big tour like that, the record label in America likes you to have something to release and tour with.
Okay.
And because the last studio album was almost a year beforehand, so we did a live album, got it sorted out. And the Hellfest thing happened just because they recorded it for us and let us use it for nothing. So
that's cool. Right. This album sounds so live that I was wondering if you retouched songs or not. Retouched.
No, that's the thing. The main thing about this album is we didn't want to retouch anything.
In the row?
No, I mean I kind of did, because I kept saying I could do that a little bit better. I don't know that solo, but the whole idea, keep it live. There's a lot of bands that will go in and retouch bits and say, well, I'm going to do that a bit better. But we thought, if we're going to do it live, this is what we're about. It's punk, and we make mistakes. And any band that says they don't make mistakes, they're lying. Or they've been rehearsing.
They lie. Okay.
I think the thing with Goblin especially is that we're very much a live band, and to do a live record and then go back in the studio and re-record half of it makes no sense. So anybody that knows us
would know we'd touched it up, basically.
Okay.
I think if we had gone back into the studio and overdone things, I think people would know, because I think you'd lose the feel. You'd lose the feel, the rawness of it. I think fans of ours would go, that sounds too good.
Okay. Does it really represent what your concerts are, your gigs are? Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was released in March this year. So do you already have feedbacks about that?
So far, it's all been very positive. As we said, we didn't want it to be this sort of overproduced, overdubbed live album. It's take us as you find us kind of deal, and everybody's appreciative of that. And I guess obviously there's going to be one or two bad reviews here and there, but I haven't really seen that much criticism of it. It's been very well received.
It's surprised even us how well it's been received. I think we expected some criticism because it's so raw. There's mistakes on there. There's and people don't always put stuff like that out. But we make mistakes.
The only sort of negative review that I've seen was somebody that obviously has never seen us live. That doesn't know what the whole kind of Orange Goblin sort of live experience is. But everybody else, the people that review our records a lot, we got great reviews from it. So.
Okay. Yeah. How was your approach and interpersonal dynamic changed during the 2 decades regarding music?
I guess the only thing you could say is that we've just naturally progressed as musicians. Obviously in any line of work you're bound to get better at what you do in that sort of amount of time. So so I think we're all probably better musicians than we were 20 years ago, and I'd like to think we're better songwriters and we have a better idea of what we're doing, and probably a lot more professional about what we do now as well.
I think the influence has changed really. You know, we're still like the same bands we've always done. We've not really had any plan, have we, to let's try and sound like Pink Floyd, or you know, we just whatever comes naturally, we just kind of record it, and that's what we've always said. Let's not try and sort of pigeonhole ourselves. If we write a song, it doesn't really matter.
Okay. And the other thing as well, because we've been the same band, the same four members forever, pretty much, then, you know, we all kind of know what each other's thinking or doing or how they act. So when we do play live, that, you know, if something goes wrong or somebody decides to go off and do something slightly different, that we, you know, we all adapt to it, and it just helps having known each other for so long. Really.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I guess another big change would have been around 2002 when we got back from the US touring Coup de Grace, and Pete, the second guitarist, left the band, so that meant that Joe had a lot more space to do stuff with the guitar. Martin had to fill the void of the rhythm guitar on the bass, and it sort of, I don't know, no disrespect to Pete, but I think it kind of made us as a band, really, going down to a four-piece, and it gave everybody more sort of room to be creative and do stuff. So that definitely sort of was a massive change.
Okay. So you traditionally released albums on vinyl, and well, what are your thoughts on the format and where it's placed today? I mean,
I think we're from a generation that appreciate vinyl. You know, as kids growing up, we all used to like going out and getting the record and appreciating the artwork and opening it and reading all the lyrics and the thanks lists and things like that. So that's something we kind of sad that's been lost in the digital age. You know, kids just download stuff now. They don't even know what the album cover looks like, things like that, and they don't go home and read all the lyrics and things like that. So it's sad in a way, but you know, there's obviously the flip side. There's diehards out there that will never let that die, and they go out of their way to search every record they want and everything. So I think there's always going to be a market for it.
How are you finding touring in Europe different from touring in America?
I guess the main noticeable difference is the hospitality in Europe's far better. You turn up at venues in America and you know, you're lucky if you get 4 beer tokens and a packet of crisps every night, and over here you get treated really well. You get fed well, plenty of beer, plenty of water, plenty of whiskey. That keeps us happy. But you know, you can't sort of dismiss America for that, because you know, everywhere has good shows, and in America there's a lot of good places to tour, and we have a great time over there. But here in Europe, fans are very enthusiastic, as we're finding out in France. You know, for a band that haven't toured here so much, there's been amazing crowds. So we get good and bad everywhere, really.
So do you have what's your best memory about touring ever, if there is one?
I think there's so many.
So many, yes.
We did an interview just now where we said probably touring with Dio and Alice Cooper was pretty special. I mean, made more so by Dio's passing. You know, if he hadn't, I mean, it just makes it fonder that he was so lovely to us as a band. I mean, he really looked out for us. And was really friendly with us. So, and it kind of made it special now, especially since he's died. Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this because we're here, but Hellfest was pretty special as well, because that day we had both times we've done, but the last time, you know, we had the drive was a really long, boring drive over. It was just one of those days, you know, and it was just fantastic when we had the response and everything. So Hellfest to me was like it was all worth it. It was, you know, it was a great show. And
that last time we only turned up about an hour before we played.
That's right. Yeah.
It was a long time.
To get there. But I think in general, though, for me, it's meeting your idols. Like, the longer you play, you end up meeting all these people that you used to listen to when you were younger, and kind of just actually kind of developing relationships with these people that you used to think were like gods almost. That's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Seeing people like Scott Reeder and Wino wearing your band t-shirt, it's quite a rewarding feeling.
Okay, great.
Even Johnny Cole from Lynyrd Skynyrd wearing a Goblin shirt on stage.
That was a Hellfest.
Incredible.
So, what do you guys have next? I mean, you're still touring in France and then Europe, and you want to ask a question?
Yeah, we do. Well, we've got another 5 shows after tonight, and we go home for 3 weeks. Then we're back out to Europe until August the 18th.
Okay.
Go home for another couple of weeks. We go back. We're doing a headline tour of the US from mid-September through to early November. And we come home, hopefully go down to Greece for a few shows before coming back. And we do a UK tour supporting Airborne, which pretty much takes us up till Christmas.
Okay.
And then there's already plans.
Then I cry. And go to bed.
There's already plans afoot for coming back out on tour early next year. So
okay, so really busy.
We can't really talk about that yet.
So great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we see you on stage. Thank you.